Greetings, gulls, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command, Orion Pirates Mod. I'm Captain Tarek of the heavy cruiser Justice. As we continue our campaign against the entirety of the neutral zone, we shall establish a safe zone around every single empire so that they may enjoy peace and prosperity within our borders. So, with that in mind, we need to set out into space and see if we can't get a little bit of heavy work done. We have 3321 prestige, which is a fairly decent amount for us so far, and we just recently managed to get the crap out of a Condor, which, I feel pretty good about, personally, because the Condor is one of my favorite dreadnoughts in the entire game. So, having destroyed it, it just demonstrates that I can kill my own monster. So, let us start repairing all the damage that is still left over from that battle. Rather considerable amounts, no less, as we go hunting down on a little patrol. Overload the weapon systems. We'll kick ourselves up to a fairly decent speed, but we are definitely in the market for a brand new vessel. Kind of prefer something in, I say, the heavy cruiser, battle cruiser range. Not sure I want to jump up to dreadnoughts just yet. I certainly don't want to jump up to a carrier just yet, because we are going to have to take several planets, of which there is one nearby. And if we hop over to carriers, fighters are not capable of handling that. We have a light cruiser off over here in the distance, next to the little baby dragon nebula. It always reminds me of like a little fairy dragon from Magic of the Gathering. Not quite sure why. Anyway, so single light cruiser off there in the distance. We should start vectoring on over towards it, preparing a wild weasel just in case. After all, we did get shot at by quite a lot of plasma in that last battle, so it would behoove us to be prepared for even more. We will launch our mobile sensors so that we can get some interesting information on that light cruiser. Go check our power output screen, and we're going to steal most of that for some speed so that we can actually get up there a little bit sooner. Plasma torpedo is about half ready, so we're going to start vectoring off slightly to the side. He has a single F-type plasma torpedo, which we shouldn't ignore, but it's not exactly going to be high on my list of things. We're going to reverse direction because we've noticed another heavy cruiser off there in the distance. It is a SAL plus. I hope it's a plus, which hopefully we can take out without too much damage. So his plasma torpedo, we're going to want to try and bait out if at all possible. That way we don't have to worry about it in the near future. It looks like, Yep, we got 2 points of power back to us, so we should be able to continue to charge all of our weapon systems. Should have most of the system ready to go by the time we actually engage the target. Not quite sure if I want to move in for tractor beam attack, mainly because he can fire at me first, and I'm just a little bit worried about taking a plasma F to the face, considering this battle is no longer just a single knockout a light cruiser and then head on. We are actually going to have to sustain this fight for a little while longer. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and bait out his plasma torpedo just a little bit, see if we can't draw him into it. He has a fairly decent amount of phasers on his ship, but only a single heavy weapon means that he's not... Ooh, wow, Gatlings. Forgot about those. Okay, there's his shot, and he did go into cloak, so we're going to kick up the power of the engines to maximum. See if we can't draw this out just a little bit longer, and we're going to extend, and straighten out. So we should be able to burn this down. Unfortunately, he did go into cloak, and that is very bad. Gonna reduce my speed a little bit. We're gonna set a probe off in the direction towards this heavy cruiser, just to see what we got in mind for him as well. If he's not packing a new plasma, that might make our lives a lot easier. He's traveling at the light cruiser is traveling at a speed of 11.2, which means it is vulnerable to being mined. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start activating my tractor beam in holding mode. And you're a missile boat. Okay, that's great. So here is the plan. We're going to pop out up here into the above ground view, because we're going to lay down a transporter mine the moment we actually get within range. We don't, of course, want to bomb ourselves, and that'll actually work. Thank you. Not that, but... how do I cancel this? I forget. Spins. There we go. Unfortunately, we did not work on that. Did my tractor beam shut off? Does that on occasion. Okay, so my mouse is just messed up now. Which is lovely. Oh, yeah, I know why. Right, okay, so I'm just gonna have to put up with what I've just done to myself. So, unfortunately, because of my current cursor settings, I haven't fixed them just about yet, but the way that, unfortunately, my cursor is established at the moment, which is not good, wow, that was a lot of damage from that mine, is that it will just use the last cursor that it saw. So I'm a little bit stuck with what I've got. So normally that is just the Federation chevron, but in this case I've just tried to lay down a mine, and so now we have a bit of a problem in that department. So yeah, not ideal. Now I can just ignore this guy for a little while. It looks like our tractor beam did just deactivate automatically for no apparent reason. It does happen on occasion. It is incredibly frustrating, but I'm going to go after my little missile boat off over here, and we'll take care of him in relatively short order. I would prefer it if the Jack didn't stay so close to me. He does have a plasma F torpedo. That can be very, very painful in the very near future are going to start to slow down until we're up to charging speed. See if we can't bounce most of his fire. He's going to high energy turn to make an immediate starboard reverse, and we're just going to close right on in a little bit closer. The bargain hunter. Prepare for a good shot on here. There's the tractor beam, there's the plasma, and he's going to help drag us away from his own... Ooh, interesting. So he was able to stop most of my outgoing fire by virtue of firing those missiles. Soaked up 6 of my phasers at the very least, which, you know, less than ideal. I am, however, going to drop a bomb on top of him. And I'm out of transporters, okay. But yeah, we dropped a mine right on top of him for obvious reasons. We wanted to see if we couldn't just do the whole AI version of the repeated mine trick, which was quite effective. Now, he's only got ARACs, which means they're half loads, or half magazine sizes, so they're quite small and relatively easy to throw. There's a reason why I didn't actually fire any of my phases until I actually fired. The missiles cannot fire within a range of 0, so as long as I hug that, he's actually mostly helpless. He has lost his shuttle bay, so that's going to make him extra vulnerable. You probably are getting set for another barrage, so I'm going to start to pull away from you. I just don't want to deal with you for now. You are traveling fairly quickly for a cloak, so you may not actually have it charged. 13 points of speed out of a light cruiser. You do only have a single plasma F, but it is something I'm going to have to sort of be aware of, because we don't actually have accurate data just yet onto what that thing's actually carrying. Now, one thing we might want to do, depending on our marine complement size, we've got 12. He's got 17, so that's not happening anytime soon. We're going to just start long-range blinking with our phasers. If we can sort of keep the range out, we should be okay, especially if we can keep him in our stern arc, mainly because that'll allow us to fire our phaser 3s should he decide to get extra antsy with his missiles. We have managed to knock out pretty much all of his defenses at the moment, which is quite handy, but I am going to turn in order to get a forward arc onto him because my G-type plasma torpedo is just about ready to rock and roll. We're going to save our phasers just in case, and he is well within maximum damage range of that, so that'll hit for about 40 damage, a little less because he's got a couple of shields up, but 35 damage. He's almost crippled at this point. I'm just going to close on him, and I think I've got him taken care of. All right, lovely. So now we're just on to our last little foe, who has actually managed to hurt us rather significantly. Thanks to having us bump our own mine. Now, I don't actually know what sort of state his weapon systems are in, which is a little concerning, but I will follow the probe to find out. Okay, he's not actually charging that at all. So he's sitting there cruising around at a very high speed, not actually charging his plasma torpedo, which allows us to just waltz on in there and fire all of our phasers at him, because why the heck not? Now, I could try and go in, start trying to bait him out with mines and all kinds of crazy stuff, but at the end of the day, it may just behoove me to sit around and slow boat him and just take advantage of whenever he actually decides to come out of cloak. Once we charge up our plasma torpedoes, it will of course be lovely. I'll start charging up the tractor beam. We'll hold that in reserve just in case. Fire our phasers at a range of 0 just for maximum accuracy so we can actually deal a little bit of damage to him. But again, since he's not actually charging anything, that makes life a whole heck of a lot easier. But yeah, we're actually going to have to speed up so that we can catch him, because him moving away at a speed of greater than 0, probably not going to have a super amount of luck. Oh, but you decided to do that, so then we'll plasma torpedo that and phaser all those, and you're deciding to counteract my speed. But if I should slow down speed time, because I have a little bit of a plan. Okay, get a little bit more in that, and then Marines, hit and run. Oh, he's coming out of cloak. How cute. Slow down even further. Oh, he's lost his plasma torpedo. His entire reason for staying within cloak is gone. So my plan was originally to hit and run his tractor beam just to force him to stay within cloak, but that's not necessary anymore. He doesn't have a tractor beam anyway. He's lost his plasma torpedo. He's basically vulnerable to anything that we really want to do to him. So feeling pretty good about that one. Just gotta wait until our phasers recycle and we'll have him basically dead. Unless you have like no people left on board. No, you have 8. Taken care of. A little bit of anti-piracy operations taken care of. Heavy cruiser and a light cruiser versus our single heavy cruiser, which has been quite badly damaged as of recently, so not bad. Although we do now know that we're at least in the middle era, which I suspected we were in a while ago, just because the AI was firing blue-type missiles at us. Those are medium-speed missiles. They show up in the middle era, so we are already at that point. So lovely. Excellent work has been done. We're going to start heading home, because I want to go check out to see if I can get myself a different ship. Center that. There it is. Hi, shipyard. I have 3667, and if I were to sell my boat, it would sell it for a lot of cash. 868. So there's a full-on flagship cruiser. That is actually a really good flagship cruiser. CCY. I'm gonna have to go through this quick. Oh, there's another one. Okay, I don't need to go through it as quickly. But you know what? Yeah, that'll be the nicest ship out here right now. So we'll buy that. We're going to then go to supply, and we are going to trade in our CAW. We've just made a major step up in firepower because we have 2 S-type plasma torpedoes, which means we equal the 3 G-type plasma torpedo firepower just out of those, and then we throw in 2 PPDs on top of that. I do need to double check though to see what I've just done on my phaser armament because I may have not been thinking about that. Phaser armament is, yep, the same 8 phaser 1s, 3 phaser 6s, 6 phaser 3s. Phaser 6s would be pretty interesting. But yeah, pretty much a straight up upgrade. We have a little bit more engine power in order to run these PPDs, but I imagine we're not going to be quite as fast. But yeah, this should be an interesting step on firepower. And we have moved on to a new class of vessel, which we are now going from the Galore to the Keldon class, which was used mostly by the Obsidian Order. If I recall correctly, it was sort of a design that they used quite heavily. Because the Keldon was supposed to be the replacement for the Galore, and so they got them first, because, you know, evil secret police societies and all that. So we'll just lock all that in, go back to the map, and back to the neutral zone work. So we do want to just grab all of the neutral zone. We'll pop on over to the planet, and a straight up planetary assault, so I'm absolutely going to grab that, because why the heck not? Planetary assaults can be a lot of fun. They can also be quite painful, but we're going to hope for the fun. And as you can see, our glorious little Keldon class, it's very similar to the Galore. It just has the hump on the back of it, along with a little bit of extra design work, I suppose you could call it. That's the button I want. In the back to beef it up. I figured it made a pretty much perfect command cruiser or flagship cruiser for the ISC. And I'm quite happy with the way that it turned out. We are, of course, being escorted by the Gorn, who are still doing... there is a BF, a battle frigate? No, this has got to be a battle cruiser of some description. Or heavy command cruiser? Yeah, not really sure, because CB is heavy command cruiser in Starfleet for the normal Federation ships, so that will be interesting to find out. Hopefully he's all on his own. In any event, we're going to set our plasma torpedoes. That's 1 to enveloping, that's the other to enveloping, just to see what sort of speed I can get out of the ship, and we can go... I think it was about there, actually. So, actually, we haven't really lost any speed. There is also a dreadnought off in the corner. So, a full-on Gorn dreadnought that we're going to have to deal with. So, we each have a dreadnought, which is going to be helpful, because I can sort of range ahead, force this heavy cruiser to use up his Wild Weasel, and we'll be able to be quite aggressive. I am very interested to see where these PPDs are going to fire from. Speaking of just where they're going to be firing from, hard points, and basically new ships, and... there is another Starfleet Command mod currently being shown off on our Discord by its creator. It is absolutely gorgeous. He's got full-on ship fleet lines that have been properly sized up all together. He's doing UI changes. This is some amazing work. I am so jealous of what he can do. And I will actually be looking forward to when he actually comes out with that, because I will probably end up playing his version with our ship list, or at least something similar to that. Because I like the Orion Pirates Plus ship list. It's much expanded, it's much larger, but I would love to use his artwork and that sort of thing. And I'll probably ask him if he's okay with that. If not, then of course we will not, because obviously you want to respect the integrity of a mod that a mod author creates. But at the same time, oh, how awesome would it be? Okay, fire our pseudo torpedo. We got some good hits on that, but now we're just going to take a really... Oh god, we're going to take a truly nasty hit because I'm foolish. Very foolish. That's going to weaken shield. Alright, so it's right on through the shield. However, he did waste it on a Wild Weasel shuttle. Or did waste a Wild Weasel shuttle on a fake one. We have a bit of repairs to get done. But on the bright side, what that means is now our Dreadnought has a free shot. Assuming, of course, our Dreadnought does not shoot his Dreadnought. Which I will attempt to make sure does not happen by firing a pseudo plasma torpedo as soon as he hits a range of 20. To hopefully bait him into one as well. Fire. Ooh, did I fire both of them? Uh-oh. This and this, 2 pseudoplasma torpedoes. Okay, it looks like he is firing them on the BF, so that'll be a nice little pickup right there. And a lot more firepower, and I got a heck of a lot closer to this thing than I should have. We're just going to be taking all kinds of damage on this one. We'll accelerate to get out of here, but yeah, that's 4 G-type plasma torpedoes. A ton of damage has now ensued. Let us repair that and repair that. However, the important thing is that the Shima has come in and basically has free shots and kills on anything it wants. So we're going to turn back around. Our port side plasma torpedo should have a decent shot on the BF. This should strip out most of its shields, which will be very helpful. I need that plasma torpedo. There we go, over the shoulder. And so, not exactly driving the ship properly. We were very overly aggressive with trying to utilize the no shuttle approach. Definitely should have had some prepared before we actually got too heavily involved in the battle. We're going to extend out a little bit and try and... Oh, crap. One of the PPDs is broken. PPDs take forever to repair. So we're going to just get our range out nice and long and just continue to blink away with the PPDs. Now we are facing a GPL-5, so a Gorn normal planet number 5, which has actual no defenses. It's got like 8 phaser 3, so it's not exactly dangerous. So we can basically just bully it once that actually happens. Our Dreadnought looks like he took a hit, but we've managed to absorb most of the fire so far, which is really good because, first of all, our initial Dreadnought volley was perfectly effective, whereas his was a little less effective. Obviously, the trade was not as ideal as possible. The ideal trade would have been that his Dreadnought would have fired at me and done no damage. Unfortunately, that was not the case. And so we're kind of skulking around a little bit for sort of long-range combat. Prepare the PPDs. We are going to engage from longish range. And one miss, but nope, we got a hookup after the first miss, so that'll be 3 good hits onto his shields. Apparently he is badly damaged. A PPD ends up hitting the facing shield and then the next 2 side facing shields. If you manage to hit a corner, it will then concentrate it on the 2 shields that you're looking at. So that can be quite helpful. Apparently they're exchanging fire. His plasma torpedo is much larger. Do you have a crash stop? You don't. So these are just going to be shots in on target, which is unfortunate. He did fire a couple over at me, which I will now attempt to out-accelerate, although the range was a little bit closer than I kind of realized. I will drop a mine, see if I can't force him to back away from me a little bit, but my aft shield is probably going down. Yeah, especially with that follow-up with the phaser. So please tell me that my PPD and my plasma torpedo... Okay, good. So he is apparently realizing that he could probably run me down if he really wants to, so he decided to plow that mine. I'm going to have to turn on in. It's the best move I've gotten. He's knocked out my second PPD, which is unfortunate. We've been very sort of fast and loose on this battle. Should have been a little bit more aggressive. Going to see if I can't keep dropping a mine, and he did break off from that one. So that will help out considerably. So that'll allow me to get some range. Oh, our DN has an R-type plasma torpedo. Oh, he's a DNE, not a DN. Okay. He's an early Dreadnought, not a proper Dreadnought. So that R-type plasma torpedo totally wasted, of course, but that'll work out just fine. I have more systems that I just need prepared and fixed. Well, we'll just extend the range out. Apparently we don't have a whole heck of a lot of armor. Either that or they burned through it very, very quickly with all those plasma torpedoes, which, you know, kind of to be expected. Plasma torpedoes tend to do a really good job of that. We do now have 2 decoys that we can use to defend ourselves whenever it's actually needed, but we're just going to extend the range out nice and wide, see if we can't prepare to come back in, hopefully at some point with PPDs, but the PPDs are really badly offline. I'm very glad that we managed to stock up on all of the things on this one. So he's doing a little bit of light long-range plinking, not being too effective with it so far, which is good. However, the first view of the Keldon, I believe, that we see in Deep Space Nine is them getting the absolute crap kicked out of them by the Founders. But yeah, that apparently was a bad omen for us. I'm going to see if I can't prepare another pseudo-strike, just to see if we can't, you know, get him to waste his... Oh, that may actually do it anyway, because that looks to be an S-type plasma torpedo. He did counter-fire, and now he's just going to take it. Okay, plasma torpedo will make the run, will break off over towards our defense. Yeah, this is one of our more open sides, but I'll drop another mine in order to see if I can't ward him away. That is an enveloping plasma torpedo, so it's guaranteed to do 2 times 2 divided by 6 damage to him based on the normal version. That'll fire a couple of shots if I have any. I do not. And he's cutting through our aft shields with ease. Oh, that's not good. Stop fixing that. Fix that. Fix the shuttle bay. It is much too important. But yeah, we basically hit him another couple of times. His shields are getting ever more weak. Although, are you gonna just tank it? Yeah, he's just gonna tank it. That's a wasted crash stop right there. So dropping his Wild Weasel shuttle way late on that one, which is really unfortunate, because it could have had a very powerful impact had he managed to avoid all that damage and then turn around and basically beat the ever-loving crap out of him. Unfortunately, the Shima is currently losing most of his phasers, which means the secondary fire support armament is not in existence, which is less than good. But we're coming back on in. We don't have our PPDs, which is very unfortunate. We don't even have a shuttle bay at the moment, which is also very unfortunate. However, we do have a plasma torpedo that is half charged. That's about it. So I'm coming in mainly for a phaser run, it would seem. I'm going to see what I can do to see if I can ward him off. I do have a forward shield, which is in good condition so far, so I might be able to do some work so long as we can kind of keep him ahead of us. I'm going to start slowing down now that we have a little bit more power so that we can start buffing up that forward shield. I'm going to have to skirt around this mine, which is going to make me quite vulnerable. An R-type plasma torpedo at a range of, call it 10, 12-ish, should deal the full amount of damage. That should cut through all of his shields, and those were not spaced right. If he has a Wild Weasel, that's going to be able to take care of him His forward shield managed to take the R, but the follow-up for the two S's managed to cut right on through that. I'm about to have another S-type plasma torpedo ready to go. So we're going to prepare the port side S, and hopefully I can line this up in time. If not, I'm just going to have to dump a phaser on. And got that out. Return fire. And we've managed to deal a ton of damage. Moderate my butt. That's 158 damage to him right there. Managed to knock out most of his plasma torpedoes, and his phasers not having a very good day. And I've got a second plasma torpedo just about ready to come back online as we come back around on his stern. Shuttle bay about to go back up, which will give us our defenses. He is slowing way down. Looks like we managed to hit something good on this ship. Starboard side plasma torpedo. I'm going to see if I can't get within range. We don't want to get too close, of course, because I don't want to take any splashback damage if I don't have to. And yeah, he's starting to open fire. It looks like we're going to have a free reign to repair all of our systems. So range of 1.5 should be good enough. I'm just going to increase the speed of time because he's basically dead at this point. And I just need to wait for my plasma to be in range. Beautiful. Alright, lovely. Now let's go for the planet, because the planet is mostly helpless. Especially to sort of the long-range enveloping reach that we happen to have in our hands. We can do quite a bit of damage to it in a fairly short amount of time. So we're just going to trundle along the little minefield that we've generated, and we're just going to go right in on them. So maximum speed uptime indeed. Wait for the PPDs to fix themselves because they take absolutely forever. A complicated piece of technology, no doubt. And so we're just going to have to wait on our repair crews to actually get everything working through. One PPD is ready, well, is finished and is now recharging, so that'll be nice to have. PPDs are one of my favorite weapon systems just because of the way they fire. They hit with the targeting beam and they just channel 4 energy shots right on down the line. It looks really cool. It's a lot of fun and very satisfying when you kill something with it. Unfortunately, it's not exactly a weapon that does a whole heck of a lot of killing. Normally you rely on the PPD to do the skirmishing into the long range, and then the plasma torpedoes do the actual killing. According to ISC fleet tactics, really, we should have another pair of destroyers or something equipped with plasma torpedoes so that we can do sort of long-range PPD plinking, and then the destroyers nail them with heavy plasma bombardment. Unfortunately, the fleet system in this game works absolutely terribly, so I didn't bother doing that. I'm just going to take the time to repair everything else. May as well. Because, yeah, I'd like to have all my shuttle systems back online and get my plasma torpedoes so they're not dented. Oh, looks like we were fighting that entire fight without shield reinforcement. Huh. No wonder some of the stuff hurt really, really bad. Alright, let's maximize the forward shield reinforcement. And we'll drift on into range, prepare the PPDs. Yeah, that would have been nice to have if we were actually protecting our forward shield. I'm a little bit surprised that we managed to make that mistake. Alright, just about to get within range. We don't need to respect the maximum range of the planet. After all, we don't care. The only thing that we need to respect is the minimum range of our PPDs, which is a minimum range of 4. So we're going to slow right on down to make sure that we don't get within inside that. But we should be close enough at this point, so. Lovely. Okay, prepare the plasma follow-up. And that's what we wanted. There we go, both plasma torpedoes away with some phaser follow-up. See how many Marines he's got left. He's got 8, so it's still going to be a little while. I could set my PPDs to overload, but at this point the planet is almost done for anyway. So we're just going to continue to blast away. And just continue to... Ooh, wow, the planet actually managed to survive that just a little bit. How unfortunate for them. So 2 more Marines need to be knocked out before we can actually send in our people for a nice and safe capture and send in the Marines. That'll be 3 versus 1. And a little bit worse for wear, a little bit more dented than I otherwise would like, but our Keldon is intact and fully capable. So we can take on a Dreadnought if it's captained properly. We made a couple of probably rudimentary mistakes early on in the battle, but we will lock those down and create a truly formidable vessel. Our shields are a little bit weak, actually, now that I stopped to think about it, and I kind of would like to have a little bit more of a plasma armament, but that's just because I've been playing Gorn and then Romulan and now this, and it's going to take a little bit of a change of mentalities. Plasma is not our only weapon system. It's not, well, it is our primary, like, battle axe, but we have a lot of support systems to back that up now that we are going to have to keep in mind. 495 prestige is a reward for a job well done, and 35 Empire Defense left on the neutral zone planet. But that is going to do it for today's episode. I have been Tarek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see a notification every time I post these videos. Press the little bell icon, leave a comment, and make sure you swing on by over on twitch.tv/Tarek117 every Wednesday and Saturday at 5 o'clock to come watch us play Rogue Tech, which is a fantastic game. I think you'll enjoy it a lot if you enjoyed this at all. And I will see you all in the next episode.